Listeners who are blind, have low vision, or have another print disability, which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Around Our Area continues now on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Your reader for this hour is Sally Herzog. And we go to our first paper, which is the West Seneca Bee. This is the Thursday, January 22nd, 2026 edition. Our first article, West Seneca Still Ice-Free for Now. This is by Eric Kepler. There has been a marked uptick in Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, activities across the country in recent weeks. But so far, West Seneca has managed to stay out of the line of fire. The agency, which has received enormous bumps in both funding and recruitment, has drawn plenty of attention and criticism for its treatment of both citizens and immigrants. West Seneca Police Chief Brian Cosgrove said that the town doesn't really have the demographics that would typically attract the attention of ICE, and even if they did, the WSPI would not be involved in any ICE activities. To the best of my knowledge, there are no operations in town at all with ICE, Cosgrove said. We don't really have any large pockets of immigrants in our town. I'm sure that there are some that live here, but not in any communities that would be large enough to be specifically targeted. Sentiment against ICE and its tactics is surging nationwide due to the perception of excessive force and controversial tactics like family separation, aggressive raids, and documented mistreatment of immigrants and U.S. citizens. Protests against ICE have ramped up significantly since January 7th, when ICE agent Jonathan Roth shot and killed unarmed U.S. citizen Renee Good in Minneapolis. On a local level, a large number of residents attended last week's town board meeting in Cheektowaga and demanded that the Cheektowaga Police Department completely separate itself from ICE officers and actions. Residents there and elsewhere want the town council to support the New York for All Act, which prohibits and regulates the discovery and disclosure of immigration status by state and local police with federal immigration enforcement. The act would restrict the sharing of personal data and preventing ICE agents from entering non-public areas of state or local property without a warrant, ensuring state resources aren't used for deportation. Cosgrove said that his department wouldn't even be made aware if ICE was in town. The only time we've encountered them in the last calendar year, to the best of my knowledge, was one time last fall when they went into Fisher Court and rounded up a roofing crew, Cosgrove said. But we were only called because residents nearby were reporting that people were being kidnapped. West Seneca Military Banner Program kicks off its final year. The West Seneca Veteran Military Banner Committee is conducting its sixth and final Veteran Military Banner Program as a living tribute for our community. The program, Honor Through Display, will honor past and present members of the armed forces with banners displayed along Union Road between Center Road and Center Street. The banner program is non-political and non-bipartisan. The effort is to serve as a living memorial to those servicemen and women from West Seneca who had served or are currently serving in our military branches, and to make area residents aware of their service to our nation. 50 banners will be available in 2026 at a cost of $135 each. Pricing includes the actual banner and the mounting hardware. If more than 50 requests are received, the Veteran Military Banner Program for 2026 will be a lottery-based system. Requests for banners will only be accepted by mail, and a random lottery will be determined eligible applicants. Any family wishing to purchase a Veterans Military Banner for 2026 should send an email before February 27th to wswetsbanner@gmail.com. Applicant must state that the banner would like to be purchased. Email must contain the full name of the applicant, telephone number, and email address. All emails received will be assigned a number. Only one submission per family. Only families that did not have a banner in 2021 through 25 will be accepted. Requests received by email will be assigned a number, and a random drawing will be made on March 2nd, and drawn requests will be notified by email that they may purchase a banner. If there are any banner slots remaining, families who displayed a banner in 2021 to 25 will be asked if they would like to display again in 2026. For complete information regarding the Military Banner Program, visit www.wsvets.org/vetbannershtml. West Seneca Water Rescue Team offers emergency aid year-round. This is by Rachel Ross. In an area that is famous for its intense winter weather conditions, it's important to have specialized systems in place for various circumstances, from heavy snowfall and severe wind to power outages and flooding. For the West Seneca Swift Water Rescue Team, not only are responders preparing to aid their own town during their colder months, but other municipalities across the region all year round. Comprised of certified volunteers from 5 of West Seneca's fire departments, the Swift Water Rescue Team was developed to provide aid to the town and its citizens in the event of flooding or other water-related emergencies. It's a huge asset to the town of West Seneca, said team coordinator John Monson. If we didn't have this team in the town of West Seneca, we would be waiting for outside resources to come during emergencies, while our citizens' homes were flooding, roadways were flooding, vehicles were getting trapped. This gives the opportunity to have those resources in town to respond quickly. According to Munson, who has been with the team for 15 years, the initiative was formed in the late 1980s after a West Seneca firefighter lost his life attempting to save 2 canoeists stuck in a dam. After that tragedy occurred, the departments came together and realized that they needed to put together a more formalized team, implement additional training, get continuity throughout all the different departments, continuity of equipment, upgrade their equipment, upgrade their rescue capabilities, things of that nature, Munson said. Since then, the team has been maintained to respond to active emergencies as well as administer preventive safety measures, such as being on standby during water-based events like last month's polar plunge at Woodlawn Beach. Though the team is based in West Seneca, Munson said they often work with organizations from other areas and municipalities should the need arise for additional assistance. We also do respond outside of our town when we're required or requested for mutual aid with other organizations, Munson said. We do that typically locally, although we have gone as far as Long Island during state disasters to provide services. We often work closely with Hamburg and Gwanda's water teams because we respond and help each other out. Additionally, as a member of the larger organization known as ALERT, the teams sometimes work with state or national operations. We are part of ALERT Region 1, as we may even work with the U.S. Coast Guard, Munson said. We may work with the Forest Rangers, the New York State Police, the City of Buffalo assets, so it all depends on where an event is, if it's preventive in nature, if it's a response. Munson said that by having a cooperative team specialized in water-related emergencies, volunteers are able to serve the town more effectively. By having our team made up of those departments, it gives us both the people power and the equipment that we need to be able to effect rescues more safely, Munson said. It also gives us the ability to train in a more coordinated manner and make sure that we all know each other's capabilities and limitations. So when we do show up, we can look around that area and know, okay, I've been in the water with that person. I've been in the boat with that person. All those different types of capabilities rather matter when it comes down to actually having to effect a real rescue. More information about the Swift Water Rescue Team can be found on participating fire department websites, including Union, Winchester, Seneca Hose, Vigilant, and East Seneca fire companies. How the postmark process affects your taxes in West Seneca. The United States Postal Service has updated its postmark process. As of December 2025, it clarifies that a postmark now revolves around when a piece of mail gets to a regional processing hub, rather than when it gets to a local postal office, potentially causing a delay of an additional 1 to 3 days before the official postmark date, impacting deadlines for taxes, bills, and ballots. To ensure West Seneca tax payments are received before the due date, the following are ways to ensure this. You can go inside the post office and request a manual postmark stamp at the counter. Use the drop box inside the West Seneca Town Hall, located just inside the entrance on the left. Make your payment online at westseneca.gov. American Express is now accepted. Pay in person at a town clerk's office to avoid any late fees. You can use certified or registered mail. The West Seneca Town Clerk's Office discourages the use of online banking for tax payments because the bank cannot guarantee a payment will be delivered by the due date. If you utilize online banking, you do so at your own risk. Make sure you use the correct mailing address. Kate Newton, Receiver of Taxes, 1250 Union Road, West Seneca, New York, 14224. Be aware that online banking checks are mailed to the town from a payment processing center by bulk mail, so there is no postmark on the envelope. A U.S. postmark is required as proof of payment date. Under the Erie County Tax Act and the New York State Real Property Tax Law, Section 925, if payment for the amount of any taxes on real property enclosed in a postpaid wrapper properly addressed to the appropriate collecting officer and is deposited in a post office or official depository under the exclusive care and custody of the United States Postal Service, such payment shall, upon delivery, be deemed to have been made to such officer on the date of the United States postmark on such wrapper. If the postmark does not appear on such wrapper, or the postmark is ineligible, such payment shall be deemed to have been made on the date of delivery to such collecting officer. Payments are always accepted at the West Seneca Town Clerk's Office between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m., Monday through Friday. Note the office will be closed on Monday, February 16th for the holiday. However, the office will be open from 9 a.m. until 12:30 p.m., Saturday, February 14th. The due date for 2026 town and county taxes is Tuesday, February 17th, to avoid late fees. And before we move to our next paper, we'd like to tell you you're listening to Around Our Area on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. And we move on to the Orchard Park Bee, and this is the Thursday, January 22nd, 2026 edition. You go to our first article. Town of Orchard Park Police Department Chief Patrick Fitzgerald announces retirement. This is by Joseph Clenard. After being appointed 4 years ago, Town of Orchard Park Police Department Chief Patrick Fitzgerald retired from his position on January 5th. Serving this community has been the greatest professional privilege of my career, said Fitzgerald. Over the years, I have witnessed firsthand the professionalism, compassion, and dedication displayed daily by the men and women of the Orchard Park Police Department. Their commitment to excellence is unwavering, and I leave knowing the department is strong, capable, and prepared for the future. For over 20 years, Fitzgerald has served the Orchard Park community in a wide variety of roles and ranks, all starting when he got his start as a public safety dispatcher at a very young age. I was blessed with the opportunity at a very young age to be hired by the Orchard Park Police Department, said Fitzgerald. I was 19 or 20 years old, working the night shift while going to school at Hilbert College, studying criminal justice. I was trying to become a police officer, and it was a lifelong goal of mine. In 2002, Fitzgerald was given the opportunity to become an officer with the City of Rochester Police Department, where he served for 3 years before transferring to the Orchard Park Police Department in 2005. Since then, Fitzgerald has taken on many different roles within the police department, as he has worked his way up the ranks toward eventually becoming chief, including DARE officer, SWAT commander, and a large role in the expansion of the School Resource Officer program. During his time as chief, Fitzgerald made a point to focus on community policing, especially with the department's relationship with the school district. It was very important to me that we build positive relationships with the community, said Fitzgerald. One of my goals was to grow the school's resource officer program from what it was, and I wanted to grow the DARE program, so it also benefited middle school students. At the end of my tenure, I can confidently say that I succeeded in doing so. Fitzgerald also led the reinstatement of the K-9 program and fire investigation units, which had been either abandoned or lessened due to several reasons. Additionally, Fitzgerald created the department's social media unit to get more acquainted with the community. We now have the ability to update people on important or emergency events in a very timely manner, said Fitzgerald. It's important for us that people realize all the services that we can provide. Everybody knows that they can call 911 and get emergency service. But we have a lot of other interactions with our community that are educational and prevention-based. Being able to connect with the community easier is such a good way to make sure that people are aware of what we do and how they can stay safe. The police department was also able to acquire an armored vehicle during Fitzgerald's time as chief, which is crucial during harsh winter conditions. During the winter, a lot of our vehicles could potentially get stuck in the snowbanks, which isn't good for anybody, said Fitzgerald. This vehicle can withstand those harsh winter conditions to respond to an emergency that may occur, and it is such an advantage for the police department to have access to. With Fitzgerald leaving his role as chief, he is looking forward to what the future of Orchard Park Police Department holds as he begins his next chapter. As I enter this next chapter, I am excited to pursue a new professional opportunity that aligns with the values and experience that I have gained through my service, said Fitzgerald. While retiring from his role is not an easy decision, I do so with great pride in what we have accomplished together and with deep appreciation for the relationships and memories that will stay with me always. New cheerleading group spreads spirit and service to Buffalo. This is by Emma McGillicuddy. A new volunteer-based cheer organization is providing post-collegiate cheerleaders with opportunities to continue performing while serving the community. BFLO Cheerleaders was founded by Francine Canglioso, a former Buffalo Bills cheerleader, who said the organization was created to address the lack of cheer opportunities available after college and to make the Buffalo community stronger. Canglioso said her professional cheer experience left a lasting impact. It was absolutely wonderful, she said. It was a unique experience and very different from high school cheer. You carry it with you for life and learn from it. It shapes you to be a strong individual. Canglioso said participation in cheer and dance has grown significantly nationwide, particularly among youth, but opportunities at the professional or community level have remained limited in Western New York. While programs such as the Buffalo Bandits offer some post-collegiate options, there are few spots open each year. There really was no outlet outside of college, she said. For such a large cheer and dance community, there was a need for something more. BFLO Cheerleaders was established as an independently owned nonprofit organization available to work with professional sports teams, nonprofits, and community partners throughout the region. This season, BFLO Cheerleaders will partner with Buffalo Extreme Basketball, a professional basketball organization. The cheer team serves as the organization's official cheerleaders, performing at games and events to help build awareness for the team. Their first appearance will be at the February 21st and 22nd home games at the X-Gen Sports Complex at 694 Mineral Springs Road. A lot of people did not realize we even have a basketball team here, Canglioso said. They're newer, and this partnership has helped generate awareness. The organization is also preparing to perform at Buffalo Bison's home games beginning next season, with plans to appear at approximately 75 games. Canglioso said the group hopes to work with additional professional sports teams in the future. Depending on the event, BFLO cheerleaders may perform choreographed routines, greet guests, assist with award presentations, or escort honorees on stage. BFLO cheerleaders operate entirely on a volunteer basis, including its executive team and performers. Besides Canglioso, the executive team consists of Vice President Nicole Weinstein, Treasurer Nicole McKee, Secretary Jen Bachabella, and choreographer Justina Grzinski, who is a former All-Pro cheerleader. Many of the cheerleaders are college students, and the organization offers a scholarship program for those athletes funded through donations, sponsorships, and fundraising events. The scholarship initiative is called the Passion for Purpose. The organization offers sponsorship opportunities for nonprofit businesses, which may include appearances while nonprofit organizations receive volunteer support. Auditions were held on Sunday, January 18th at Fantastic Friends of Western New York, a nonprofit that helps children with special needs, at 4000 California Road, with more than 80 individuals registering. From that group, 24 cheerleaders were selected, along with the 5 veteran leaders who have prior professional cheerleading experience and served as mentorship roles. The audition process included 3 rounds. The first evaluated how quickly participants learned choreography. The second required group performance in front of a judge panel. The final round consisted of interviews focused on character, teamwork, and community involvement. Canglioso said community support is essential in sustaining the volunteer-based program, particularly the Scholarship Fund. Our goal is to make Buffalo strong through sports and service. She said, this has been a need for a long time. We have over 50 members, and we are still growing. We also are accepting guest choreographer opportunities. More information, including sponsorship and donation opportunities is available at www.bflocheerleaders.com. To keep up on social media, you can follow the organization on Instagram at BFLO Cheerleaders. Loneliness through community connection. During the winter months, when travel is frequently more difficult, more days than not are bitterly cold, and the environment outside is often gray and gloomy, it can be easy to want to stay inside as much as possible. With this, it can also be easy to develop feelings of loneliness, isolation, or separation from your community. For Melissa Foster, president of Kenmore Village Improvement Society, one of her aims through her organization is to help individuals experiencing these feelings by providing resources and opportunities for community connection, not just during the winter, but all year round. Through their website, Help for Loneliness, KVIS provides information explaining what loneliness is and how you know you're experiencing it, how loneliness impacts your health and happiness, and how to cope with it and combat those feelings. Humans have an instinctive need to belong, the website says. Just like physical pain tells us that there is something wrong in our bodies, the feeling of loneliness arises as a way to protect us from the dangers of remaining isolated. The website points to a collection of subject experts as informational sources, including former U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy, the works of which are available for further reading through links on their resource page. Beyond providing information on the subject, Help for Loneliness links back to the work that KVIS is doing to actively confront the issue within the community, offering a space for Kenmore residents and beyond to gather together, build friendships, and make a difference. As we're doing our work, we're talking and we're building relationships, Foster said. We're focused on the work that we're doing, but then the supplementary element of it is that we're building relationships and we're building friendships, and they're deep. They mean something, and we have a common goal that we gather around. According to Foster, who founded the organization 18 years ago, KVIS is a group of volunteers who strive to maintain and improve the community for all through events such as Dog Days of Kenmore and the Children's Concert Series, initiatives including Help for Loneliness and Save the Bees, Western New York, the committees like Be Well and Historic Kenmore. Foster said that beyond building those relationships, getting involved in community groups like KVIS help people to break out of repetitive or monotonous routines that can contribute to those feelings of isolation and loneliness. She cited the group's most recent monthly meeting as an example. So often we will get home from whatever it is we need to do that's outside of the home, and then there are demands made on us. We go into fixing dinner, putting the laundry in, doing all those other things that have to happen. And those people last week experienced that, but they still came out to the meeting afterward, Foster said. That goes beyond just saying, I want to be more active in my community. I want to help make my community better. That goes to say that I'm actually going to put myself out. And in many ways, in winter, there's a greater sense of I really have to push myself to stay connected and try to be well. The main idea that Foster said she tries to impress on others during the winter is the concept of living with intent rather than allowing yourself to go through the motions. If your intent is to go to the gym, if your intent is to meditate, if your intent is to just be more socially connected, whatever it is, try to give that little bit of extra push, Foster said. Additional information about Help for Loneliness and KVIS can be found on their respective websites at helpforloneliness.com and villageofkenmore.com. And before we move on to our next paper, we'd like to tell you you're listening to Around Our Area on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. And we move on to the East Aurora Bee. This is the Thursday, January 22nd, 2026 edition. We go to our first article. Friends of Knox Farm received $151,000 grant for stable restoration. This is by Justin Sullivan. The Friends of Knox Farm State Park have been awarded $151,205 matching grant to continue restoration work at the historic pole stables at Knox Farm State Park on Buffalo Road in East Aurora. The funding comes from the Environmental Protection Fund's Park and Trail Partnership Grants Program. The nonprofit Friends Group must raise an additional $17,000 in local matching funds, bringing the total project cost to $168,205. The 2021 The Friends of Knox Farm State Park Incorporated assumed management of the stables through an agreement with New York State Office of Parks, Prevention, Rentals, Events, Fundraising, and Grants will help the Friends restore the building and expand its uses. The award is part of the broader $2.25 million distribution to 27 organizations across New York that support state parks, trails, and public lands. The grants are administered by Parks and Trails New York in partnership with the State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation and the Department of Environmental Conservation. According to Parks and Trails New York Executive Director Paul Steele White, the program has helped restore trails, improve visitor facilities, and expand public programming over the past decade. This year's record-breaking awards will ensure that these vital sites continue to educate, inspire, and warmly welcome all who visit, White said in a statement. At Knox Farm, the funding will support 3 major projects focused on safety, accessibility, and historic preservation at the nearly 100-year-old stables. Planned work includes repairing and replacing sections of the building's clay tile roof to prevent water damage, replacing a cracked asphalt patio behind the structure with a new concrete pad, and creating a missing dome atop the cupola. Additional restoration work is expected in 2027. Friends of Knox Farm Executive Director Kathleen York said the group has already made significant progress at the site since 2022, including installing a new central walkway in 2024 and repairing or replacing all of the building's windows by 2025. This grant will allow us to tackle some important projects as we prepare for the building's centennial celebration in 2027, York said. As improvements progress, the adaptive reuse of this building and surrounding grounds are becoming an increasingly important venue for musical and theater events, camps, celebrations, and public gatherings. The Friends of Knox Farm is an all-volunteer nonprofit dedicated to preserving and promoting the park's historic character and expanding public use of the site, which began as the late 19th century summer estate of Seymour H. Knox, a Buffalo entrepreneur and founding partner of F.W. Woolworth Company. The family developed the 633-acre property into a self-sustaining farm and horse training ground, known for its distinctive architecture like the dairy barn, eventually becoming a state park in 2000 after the family's desire to preserve it. Today it's a popular spot for hiking, horseback riding, and nature observation, featuring historic buildings and diverse habitats. A full list of Round 11 grant recipients is available on the Parks and Trails New York website at www.ptny.org/park trail partnership grants. Greater East Aurora Chamber seeks nominations for 79th Annual Business Excellence Awards. The Greater East Aurora Chamber of Commerce is seeking nominations for its 79th Annual Business Excellence Awards, titled Galactic Gala, honoring outstanding businesses and professionals and non-profit organizations across the region. The award celebration will be held Wednesday, March 23rd. The location has not yet been announced, and additional details will be released in the coming weeks. The nomination period is now open, and the Chamber is encouraging the public to participate. Eligible nominees must be Chamber members and operate within the communities of Aurora, Colden, East Aurora, Alma, Holland, Marilla, South Wales, West Falls, and Wales. Award categories include Small Business Person of the Year, Rookie Business of the Year, Young Professional of the Year, Nonprofit of the Year, and the Chamber's Legend Award. Criteria for each category and the nomination form is available at www.eanycc.com under the Events tab. Nominations are due February 6th. Winners are selected based on how closely nominees align with award criteria, not the number of nominations received. Honorees will be announced in March. This year's Galactic Gala theme is inspired by the legendary spirit of Star Wars, celebrating innovation, leadership, and resilience across our business community, said Victoria Sturman, Executive Director of the Chamber. She said the theme builds on last year's event, A Night with the Stars, while highlighting the future of the regional business community. Over the past year, the Chamber has been intentional about transforming our annual Business Excellence Awards into one of the signature events of the year, Sturman said. Each honoree is deeply deserving of this recognition, and the Galactic Gala allows us to celebrate their achievements in a way that feels bold, inspiring, and forward-looking. The Chamber is also seeking marketing sponsors to support the event. Sponsorship opportunities are available at various price points. More information is available at www.eanycc.com or by contacting Carrie Evans, Special Events Coordinator, at cevans@eanycc.com or 716-652-8444. When local businesses thrive, our entire region rises together, Sturman said. Cornell Cooperative Extension of Erie County to hold annual Communities in Bloom classes. Cornell Cooperative Extension of Erie County's Master Gardener program will offer its 22nd annual Communities in Bloom gardening classes in February, with sessions designed for both beginning and experienced gardeners. The classes will be held Saturdays, February 14th and 22nd at the Aurora Senior Center, 101 King Street in East Aurora. On Saturday, February 14th, the program will include, from 9 until 10:15, Garden Design 101, presented by Nora Saints, focused on essential steps to creating a cohesive and attractive garden in spaces of any size. From 10:30 until 11:15 a.m., Incorporating Native Plants into Your Garden, presented by Lynn Chimera, covering how to choose native plants, the difference between native plants and cultivars, and where to purchase native plants in Western New York. On Saturday, February 22nd, sessions will include, from 9 until 10:15 a.m., What's Wrong with My Plant, presented by Carol Ann Harlows. Participants are encouraged to bring a plant, a cutting, or a clear photograph for a diagnose and discussion. From 10:30 until 11:15 a.m., Win the War Against Problems in the Vegetable Garden, presented by Margaret Robb, featuring practical tips from master gardeners to promote healthy vegetable gardens. The registration fee is $20 per date for master gardeners and $25 per date for general public. Registration for all classes is available online at erie.cce.cornell.edu/events. For additional information, contact JAH663@cornell.edu or call 716-652-5400, extension 176. Individuals requiring accommodations due to a disability should contact Sharon Bachman at 716-652-5400, extension 150, at least 5 days prior to the event. Cornell Cooperative Extension of Erie County provides research-based educational programs to county residents in agricultural and food systems, 4-H development, nutrition and community health, environmental and natural resources, sustainable energy and climate change, and consumer economic vitality. For more information on the nonprofit Cornell Cooperative Extension of Erie County, visit www.erie.cce.cornell.edu. DMV offices to temporarily close in February for system upgrade. The New York State Department of Motor Vehicles announced today that it will temporarily close all offices across the state beginning at 2 p.m. Friday, February 13th through Wednesday, February 18th to help facilitate the installation of new technology system. The rollout of the new technology is set to take place over the long President's Day weekend to limit disruption. During this time, all DMV offices will close for business, and DMV online transactions and phone services will be unavailable. DMV operations, including full-service, in-person, online, and over-the-phone services, are expected to resume at the start of business on Wednesday, February 18th. This brief interruption will allow for a new system to be implemented and tested to ensure the successful resumption of services. Officials say this new modernized technology system will give customers better and more streamlined service, as well as help DMV staff serve New Yorkers more efficiently. With one consolidated state-of-the-art system, we will be replacing hundreds of software applications, some of which date back to the days of Nelson Rockefeller, said DMV Commissioner and Chair of the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee, Mark J.F. Schroeder. Leading up to the implementation, for those New Yorkers whose license or non-driver ID will need to be renewed ahead of February 13th, or who need to complete another transaction before that date, they are encouraged to take advantage of the more than 70 online transaction opportunities available through DMV's website. New Yorkers can also monitor New York DMV's social media channels for updates prior to and after the agency system is brought back online. In recent years, DMV has made significant changes to increase online and over-the-phone self-service options, help customers better prepare for their in-person transactions, and establish a robust in-person reservation system to reduce the amount of time customers wait to be served in an office. This February upgrade builds upon those efforts with a second major upgrade to follow in 2028. These technology investments are part of the agency's larger effort to streamline its operations as the agency strives to achieve its vision to shatter perceptions of the DMV. And before we move on to our next paper, we'd like to tell you you're listening to Around Our Area on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. And we move on to our next paper, the Hamburg Sun, and this is the Friday, January 23rd, 2026 edition. And we go to our first article, Hamburg IDA set to work with Hamburg Town Board on languishing sites. This is by Chris Graham. With the new Hamburg Town Board now in place, the Hamburg Industrial Development Agency is looking to develop a list of several neglected sites in Hamburg and see what can be done to possibly redevelop them. A kind of kickoff meeting with the new supervisor, Elizabeth Farrell Lorenz, about prioritizing some sites in the town and working more collaboratively with the town to try to get these sites off to more productive use, said Sean Doyle, executive director of the Hamburg IDA. The three key reuse sites highlighted by Doyle were Immaculate Conception Convent at 5272 South Park Avenue, South Shore Country Club at 5076 Southwestern Boulevard, and the former home of Braemiller Lanes at 39 Buffalo Street, which is a Village of Hamburg property. The convent site has been sitting for years with no activity, Doyle said. It would be nice to have something go on there. Doyle said the town has been proactive with the code and safety and security issues at the convent site, but added there needs to be more productivity for a key element in the South Park corridor. Doyle says the South Shore Country Club is overgrown and under-maintained. Anyone who lives in the Southtowns knows that was a former golf course, and nothing is happening there, Doyle said. The Braemiller Lanes site has not seen any development since the former building in the village center was torn down in November of 2022, following a major winter storm. The Braemiller's lot, the analog, is the beautiful smile with a missing tooth, Doyle said about the village missing a key part of its downtown structure. For those properties, the focus would be looking at zoning and land use, or connecting with a new owner or a quarterly basis to see if there is a development plan for the property, or if there's a plan to sell the site. He added that the IDA could speak with the owners or developers about the potential of incentives. Each site will have its own plan, but at least a plan to provide a more stabilized and organized approach to developing these sites, Doyle said. Further talks about what to do with the sites will be discussed with the council member Nick Ordis, the town's board's liaison to the Hamburg IDA. I think we'll be more productive as an agency, and the town will be more productive if we work together to hone in on this short list of sites and see what we can do to move some development there, Doyle said. Village of Angola officials mulling joining Town of Evans in applying for TAP grant to fix village sidewalks. This is by Chris Gordon. The Angola Village Board is considering partnering with the Town of Evans in an attempt to get the Transportation Alternatives Program grant to fix more sidewalks in the village. We are working with them, Village Mayor Thomas Whalen said during the January 12th board meeting. Village Clerk Treasurer Nicole Leppard told the board the town approached the village to see if they were interested in being co-applicants, which, if awarded, would be a $170,000 grant. The area they would be looking at would be from Route 5 through Lake Street. Leppard told the board it would be a while until work was done if the municipalities were successfully awarded the grant. If awarded, design work would begin in 2 years, Leppard said. Whalen said it would be 3 or 4 years before the work is fully completed. The due date for the application is Thursday, March 12th. In another matter, the board approved a measure that will lead to a 9% increase in water rates beginning Sunday, March 1st. This will be an increase to $44.05 for 1 to 6,000 gallons and $8.45 per 1,000 gallons after the minimum inside the village minimum, and $52.05 for 1 to 6,000 gallons, and then $9.10 per 1,000 gallons after minimum outside the village minimum. The measure passed by a 4-to-1 count, with trustee Valerie Stomich casting a lone vote. The board will hold its next meeting at 5:30 p.m. Monday, February 9th at the Angola Village Hall. Rock the Country heading to the Hamburg Fairgrounds in September. Rock the Country, a festival for the people, will come to the Hamburg Fairgrounds for a 2-day event on Friday, September 11th and Saturday, September 12th, celebrating America's 250th anniversary through music, community, and patriotism. The lineup in Hamburg will feature Kid Rock, Hank Williams Jr., Gavin Adcock, Chris Jansen, Nellie Shenandoah, Josh Ross, Cole Goodwin, Sadie Bass, and more. In 2026, Rock the Country will visit 8 cities across the U.S., continuing its mission of bringing live music experience to markets often overlooked by traditional touring. It's this simple. Rock the Country isn't just a music festival, it's a movement, said Kid Rock. In 2026, as America celebrates its 250th anniversary, this is a place for hardworking, God-fearing patriots to gather as one and celebrate freedom, music, and the party of the year. This year, the festival is making a major investment in the fan experience, introducing upgrades across the festival grounds. New additions include expanded shade and cooling throughout the site, a newly built fan zone featuring a second stage presented by Race Rowdy, and a dedicated food zone showcasing offerings from 5 or more local food trucks, complete with shaded eating areas for fans to relax and recharge between sets. VIP guests will enjoy premium food offerings curated by David Roncroft, a nationally recognized chef and winner of the Food Network's Iron Chef Showdown. New for 2026, Rock the Country is also introducing Front Porch Festival passes. Each Front Porch pass includes seating with elevated sidelights, complimentary non-alcoholic beverages, and dinner, also curated by Bancroft, a dedicated festival entrance, a weekend parking pass, and additional premium amenities. In addition to Front Porch and VIP offerings, Rock the Country will offer single-day and weekend general admission tickets, GA Plus passes providing closest access to the stage, hotel packages, and camping options. Ticket prices start at $89.99 plus fees. For more information about Rock the Country, including full lineups and ticket details, hotel packages, and more, visit rockthecountry.com. Orchard Heights hires Hamburg resident as new director of nursing. Orchard Heights Senior Living has hired Hamburg resident Brittany Coburn as the community's new director of nursing. With more than 10 years of nursing experience and 5 years in senior living leadership, Coburn brings strong clinical knowledge, high standards, and a commitment to excellence in residential care, Orchard Heights officials said. In her role, she will oversee nursing operations, support clinical staff, and ensure the continued delivery of safe, compassionate, and resident-centered services. Her leadership is expected to further strengthen Orchard Heights' dedication to quality and consistency across all levels of care. We are very excited to have Brittany join our leadership team, said Tammy Jo Smith, Executive Director of Orchard Heights. Her experience, professionalism, and drive for excellence makes her an exceptional fit for our community. Coburn is a Frontier High School graduate who has lived in Hamburg her entire life. She is now raising her 4 children in the community. I am honored to join Orchard Heights and look forward to supporting our residents and staff and continuing the Orchard's legacy of exceptional care, she said. Orchard Heights, located at 5200 Chestnut Ridge Road in Orchard Park, offers assisted living, enhanced services, memory care, and independent living. For more information on Orchard Heights, visit orchardheights.com. 10 Lives Club seeking donations for 25th Anniversary Gala. The 10 Lives Club adoption group is calling on the community to support through in-kind donations to help make the club's 25th Anniversary Gala, taking place on Saturday, February 28th at Samuel's Grand Manor, a success. The organization is currently seeking donations of gift cards, lottery tickets, silent auction items, special raffle items, as well as wine and liquor to be featured at the gala. Proceeds from these items will directly benefit the club's life-saving program and ongoing care for cats in need. Since opening its doors in 2001, the club has rescued over 50,000 feline lives, providing medical care, rehabilitation, and second chances to cats from across western New York. Last year, 3,840 cats and kittens entered into the program, and 3,760 of these cats being adopted. The gala will honor this achievement, recognize the supporters who have made it possible, and raise critical funds to ensure the organization can continue its mission for years to come. Donations can be dropped off at the club's main shelter, located at 3741 Lakeshore Road, Blaisdell, or mailed to P.O. Box 253, North Boston, New York 14110. Gallivan calls on Governor to include expanded brownfield cleanup program in state budget. State Senator Patrick Gallivan is urging Governor Kathy Hochul to include legislation to expand the state's brownfield cleanup program in her fiscal year 2027 executive budget. The bill, sponsored by Gallivan, would direct the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation to remediate state-owned buildings affected by asbestos, lead, PCBs, and other contaminants. The so-called vertical brownfield program would help cover the cost of cleanup, making the site more attractive and redevelopment and economic opportunities. In a letter to the governor, Gallivan referred to the West Seneca Developmental Center as an example. The DDSO campus has been largely unused for many years, and most of the buildings are dilapidated and in need of costly remediation because of asbestos, lead paint, and other hazardous material, Gallivan said. Expanding the brownfield cleanup program to cover these state-owned buildings will make the property more attractive to private developers. The Buffalo-Niagara Partnership has identified the proposed legislation as a priority in its 2026 legislative agenda. The brownfield program has long helped clean and redevelop contaminated sites across our region, said Buffalo-Niagara Partnership CEO Dottie Gallagher. However, buildings that are full of hazardous materials like lead or asbestos do not qualify for assistance unless they sit or contaminated soil. These sorts of vertical brownfields are extraordinarily expensive to remediate, which discourages redevelopment of older buildings. The BNP thanks Senator Gallivan for its forward-thinking legislation, which addresses the critical gap in the brownfield program and will make our region cleaner and more feasible to develop. Gallivan says as New York State closes more of its mental facilities, prisons, and other state-owned sites, it should do more to ensure the safety of state-owned properties and to promote their reuse. You've been listening to Around Our Area, a weekly look at community newspapers from around Western New York. Your reader for this hour has been Sally Herzog. Thank you so much for listening.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have the Ampol Eagle. At 4 o'clock, we have the Grand Island Niagara County Tribune Sentinel. And following that, at 5 o'clock, we have the Lockport Union Sun and Journal. Stay with us for these readings and more throughout the day. following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision,